Hello and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Ripple CTO explains why Ripple used GSR's trading bots to sell XRP. Interesting. Okay, so let's get into this one. So I kind of saw a bit of this. I didn't actually see David Schwartz's response, but I saw where some of this has all come from. There was a video done by, I think his name's the Dark Horse on X, and he'd done a video basically showing court documents where they've spoken about Ripple basically using trading bots to sell XRP. And the concerns that have come from this is, now let me just say this is just what people are saying. I didn't research this enough myself to double check, because to be honest with you, when I see a lot of all this, like, before I really start doing a deep dive into things, I like to see how accurate it is, because a lot of people get very emotionally attached to stuff and then they just start saying things. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the price is going down, they're like, oh, you know, this is Ripple, you know, they're doing this and that. And then, you know, if the price goes up, oh, it's Ripple, you know, like, people are very fickle and they can really change their emotions and their minds like very easily, especially when it comes to being invested in something, because it's going to obviously ultimately make or lose their money. So I try not to get too involved with this kind of stuff at first until I feel like there's enough evidence that warrants me to look into it deeper. But people were saying that once the trading bot selling had stopped, that's when XRP had reached its all-time high. So they're ultimately saying that they feel like the price was being suppressed due to Ripple using these trading bots. Now, again, I didn't specifically see the date of the document or anything like that to see if that was accurate or not, but this is what people are claiming. And so we've actually got David Schwartz here addressing this and speaking on it. And, you know, I thought I'd do a video on this because I've quickly read what David Schwartz had to say, because, you know, let's hear it from the horse's mouth. And to be honest, what he says makes sense, to be completely real with you. So I think this is really something that's good to listen to, because for one, you're getting both sides of the story, right? Because this is one thing I will say. I can't prove one way or the other what's right or wrong. Like, David Schwartz could be lying for all I know, so I'm not about to just say, you know, this is 100% the truth, but what he said does make sense. Like, his reason as to how he's explained this, it does really make sense. So all I'm saying is, I don't know what the real answer is, but the answer that David Schwartz has given is plausible. So just take that in mind, right? So check this out till the end, because that's when I can give you my true thoughts on this and explain why I think this is a fair response. And I do think it does make sense for that to be the truth, but whether it is or not, I don't know. So let's get into the article and then we can discuss this a little bit further. David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, recently gave a possible reason behind the company's decision to leverage trading bots from GSR for its programmatic sales of XRP. For context, some documents from the Ripple vs SEC lawsuit concerning Ripple's programmatic sales of XRP recently took center stage in the XRP community. The documents show an email conversation between market maker GSR and Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse's team. The conversation centered on the decision to, quote, let XRP breathe, unquote, by halting sales of the asset using trading bots from GSR. Some XRP community figures pointed out that the XRP recorded a massive surge to its all-time high of $3.31 shortly after they stopped the sales, compounding speculation that these sales suppressed the asset's price. Amid reactions from XRP proponents, David Schwartz, Ripple's Chief Technology Officer, has been engaging the community, looking to provide necessary clarifications where he can. In his latest disclosure, he attempted to give a reason behind Ripple's decision to use GSR for the programmatic sales. Recall that Schwartz previously confirmed that Ripple already stopped these programmatic sales in 2020. With its current XRP sales only relating to ODL, in brackets now Ripple Payments, transactions. Schwartz states why Ripple used GSR for XRP sales. In his latest disclosure, the Ripple CTO emphasized that he does not particularly have any privileged information on the conversation detailed in the GSR emails, indicating that his explanation might not be accurate. However, Schwartz speculated that Ripple's decision to sell XRP using GSR could have been an avenue to avoid any legal issues. According to Schwartz, Ripple chose not to sell the tokens themselves to hedge against any accusations of price manipulation. Notably, should Ripple have chosen to carry out the programmatic sales themselves, the firm could have faced allegations of using insider information to manipulate the price of XRP through these sales. While Ripple delegated the sales to other agents such as GSR, the firm directed these entities to ensure they carry out the sales in a way that does not significantly impact the price of XRP. Steering clear of large-scale sales in short periods of time is one of the ways to avoid such price impact. Schwartz noted that Ripple did not need to micromanage the entities delegated with these tasks, as that would translate to the firm's indirect involvement in the sales. The Ripple CTO said the email conversation showed the manner in which these entities aimed to handle the sales. In an earlier remark, David Schwartz stressed that the email conversation does not particularly indicate any violations relating to price manipulation, as the SEC would have leveraged that to bring up more charges against Ripple if that were the case. He emphasized that when these government agencies seek to bring a case against the firm, they scrutinize every document for possible charges. However, they only charged Ripple and its executives for allegedly selling unregistered securities without other allegations. Okay, so let's get into this, guys. Let's really get into this. So I'll be honest and say I didn't really check the dates, because when I saw this video, I did see it and I looked at it and I was like, okay, interesting. But again, I wanted more information before I start deep diving, because you get these influencers who will either FUD XRP or they will shill XRP, and sometimes both of them are doing it for attention. So a lot of the times it can be very exaggerated, so they will make out like the sky is falling with XRP when it's really not that bad to get attention. And then at the same time, some people will say XRP is going to the absolute moon, and they're just doing that for attention, right? So I kind of like to see where things go and see if they have any weight to it. So first and foremost, the fact that David Schwartz has really addressed this says a lot, right? Because let's just say one thing here right now, straightforward. There's been accusations against Vitalik Buterin, right? The founder of Ethereum, and Joseph Lubin, I think it's Joseph Lubin if I'm remembering rightly, regarding them being involved with a hack. Have they said anything? No. Have they said anything about ETHgate? No. They've kept quiet. That to me is very more damning than having David Schwartz come out and really try to explain himself. So I'll be honest with you. To me, Ripple as a company, while I will be honest with you, I don't think they have our best interest at heart, because they're trying to make their company work, right? Like, they're not really working for us when it's all said and done. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they don't owe us anything. That's what you've got to understand. People think like, we've invested in XRP, so Ripple owe us all this stuff. Guys, not to be funny, but they don't owe us anything. The only reason why you invested in XRP is because you want to make money. It's not because you really love Ripple, like you love what Ripple can do for you because you believe they can help you make money. But it's not nothing personal, right? It's all business. So it's the same for them. Them as a company are trying to make their company a success, right? They're trying to make their business successful. But the fact that they're as transparent as they are, like the fact that they was going to the SEC regularly and trying to do what they could to be transparent and help themselves get legal clarity, and then they use that against them, the SEC actually use that against them to sue them, it shows you that they've done everything they can to be transparent. Ripple regularly release reports on how they're doing and how the XRP sales are going. So you've got all these things that you can literally see for yourselves. So I do actually give Ripple some credit in that sense, because as a company, it does seem that they really are trying to be transparent with us. And then you've got David Schwartz coming out to try and clear this kind of thing up. I have to give that respect, because he's clearly trying to make you guys understand that they are trying to do the right thing here. So in my opinion, I look more on Ripple's side here, if I'll be completely honest. And this is what I wanted to say. When he spoke about this, saying, the reason why they've done it is to try and bring up that kind of third party, like that wall, to avoid them being accused of like price manipulation, that makes complete sense. Because think about it now. The SEC actually did end up suing Ripple, right? And also Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen. if they could have got fraud on them or insider trading, whatever, do you not think they would have added that? Of course, right? Because any kind of thing that they can get on them to try and win the lawsuit, to try and damage the credibility of the company, they're going to do that. That's going to help them win. So anything that they can try and use against them, they would do. So don't think that this is a thing where the SEC were being like merciful or, going easy on them. No, they didn't do it because there was not enough there to prove that allegation. So really, to me, that just shows you straight away that it's not likely that that's the case. The likely that they was doing this to suppress the price or whatever, like, it's just not likely. It's really not, because as David Schwartz said, if that's the case, they would have used that against them. They would have sued them for that as well. 100%. So that straight away makes me think the likelihood of that being the case is pretty much slim to none, in my opinion. Now, as I say, could I be wrong? Yeah, I could. But again, what's the odds? Like, what's really the odds? I don't think it's really that likely, in my opinion. The next thing that was mentioned here is regards to what the court documents say. And I've not got the tweet up here or the post up here, but one of the things that David Schwartz says in regards to the court documents, he's saying, look, when you're in a court case and you're actually going through, like discovery and stuff like that, any lawyer who's trying to be like the prosecutor or the defender, they're going to take whatever they can and they're going to manipulate it to sound as bad as they can to try and prove their point. And so it sounds worse than what it is because, yeah, they was using it in a court of law to try and help their defense, right? They wanted to help their defense for prosecution. So yes, the SEC have taken this email and maybe this specific part of this email and highlighted this to make it sound bad. But what's the greater context? What's the full conversation? There could be way more to this document than what the SEC have actually, shown, because they just want to highlight the part that sounds bad. And this does make sense. Again, this is what they do. This is what happens in a court of law. Like, you're just trying to, whether it's defending yourself or whether it's prosecuting, either side, you're trying to take the parts that's going to be useful for you. The other parts that are not relevant, what are you using that for? That's not going to help the case, right? So they're just taking the parts that they know they can make sound bad, and sometimes they will even manipulate it to sound worse or better, depending on what side you're using it for. So this is how courts work. Like, it really is like a game of really just who can put together the best argument to make themselves look the best. And that's the thing that's kind of like a shame with court, because they don't really care who's right or wrong. It's about winning. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And that's why they say when it comes to like a court of law, it's not about what the truth is, it's about what you can prove. And that's where it's like, it's a bit twisted, right? Because people can bend the truth or twist the truth to make it seem in a completely different way. Can you prove that that's a lie? Can you prove that that's the truth? That's what it comes down to. So it really is a bit of a crazy situation when you think about it from that perspective. And the other thing I will say is just this in regards to Ripple suppressing XRP's price. Why would they want to do this? They hold the biggest amount of XRP more than anyone. If XRP is successful, it makes Ripple more successful. So why would they want to suppress the price of XRP? Now, some may say, oh, it's so they can do cross-border payments to make the payments more stable because XRP won't be as volatile. Okay, well, I'll say two things in regards to that. One, XRP settles within like 1 to 5 seconds. The chances of volatility within 1 to 5 seconds is very minimal. It is really very slim. So I really don't think that's much of a factor in that regard. But even putting that to the side, the other thing is this. The other way to make the price more stable for payments is if the price was getting higher and more value was going into XRP, right? And the way I'll just try and explain this is, think about the stock market and the crypto market right now, right? If you think about the stock market, it's way less volatile than the crypto market, yeah? So in the stock market, if you see like a drop of like 1% in the stock market in like a stock, you're like, oh my God, like, whoa, that was a bad day. In crypto, we see drops of like 30, 40%, and we're just like, yeah, that's pretty standard in crypto, right? The reason why is because there's way less value in the crypto market than there is the stock market. So the stock market is way more stable because there's way more value in the stock market. So it takes way more money, way more value to knock a stock than it would a crypto, because there's way more liquidity, way more value in the stock market. So just think about that in the same way as XRP. If there's loads and loads of value going into XRP's price, it's going to be more stable. So it will take a lot more to rock the price of XRP because it's more stable, because there's more value in it. So when people are saying that they're doing this to try and make the price more stable, well, it would be better if they've just got the price more stable from more value going into XRP rather than keep trying to sell it to balance it out. So to me, I'm not so sure I really agree with that, to be honest. So even when I just look at it from that perspective, I don't really see why they would want to manipulate the price. Not in my opinion. So there's the other side of this. As I say, guys, take this for what you will. Like, I don't know what the truth is. You know, obviously we can only go by what one person is saying with the court documents that we've seen and what David Schwartz is saying. We don't know for sure. But the thing that I will say to me that really confirms it for me personally is the fact that the SEC didn't make that allegation against them. Because we know the SEC did not take it easy on Ripple at all. So if they had that as a good argument to try and use to win, they would have made that allegation. So the fact that they didn't, to me, tells me that there's probably nothing there. Because if it was there, they would have used it. I really think they would have, because they really went at Ripple guns blazing. You know, they did not hold anything back, and they lost, but it wasn't without a valiant effort. You know, like, they really tried. So to me, that just tells me all I really need to know personally. So up to you guys on what you believe, but you know, I think overall, I don't really think that's the case. I don't think that they was trying to suppress the price of XRP personally. But what do you guys think? Ripple suppressing the price of XRP. Do you agree with this? Do you think that Ripple were secretly suppressing the price of XRP? What do you think their reasons were for suppressing the price of XRP? Or do you not agree with this? Do you not think that Ripple was suppressing the price of XRP? And if you don't think they were suppressing the price of XRP, why don't you think that? Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'll be interested to hear. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did like it, please remember to drop a comment, like, and subscribe. But until next time, take care.